GT.
Want to see something really exciting?
Fiero GT, now with the authority of a fuel-injected V6. Fiero. You got it, Pontiac.
Here is the frunk compartment on my 85 Fiero GT, and this is what an original one looked like, because this has not been touched since it rolled off the line. Needs to be cleaned, but this is connections underneath here. That's all as it was. This spare tire has not been touched. The jack's not been touched. That jack handle has not moved from the time this rolled off the assembly line. Now, when I was driving it home, it smelled bad, mouse bad, and I turned the fan on and was barely getting any flow out. So I'm thinking that the mice have set up shop in the front ductwork. So there's two access places for it. Back in there is the resistor, or resistors for the fan speed. There's a couple of screws that hold that in, and then the larger one is the blower motor flange. So we'll take both those out and have a look, see what's down in there. So that's back in. Doesn't look like, once you get past that first, it's not so bad. However, on the, that's in the fan, there's a mess back in there. So out comes the shop vac. Let's see what we can get out. You can kind of see back in there. So I've cleaned it, got all of the loose stuff out. I missed some down there, I'll get that. And then did the same thing back in here, stuck a brush in through that access. Back through the opening there, you can see the heat exchanger, heater core. It's been all the mouse nest stuff dusted off of it. I've cleaned the fan, not completely, but I've cleaned where I could get to. So we'll install things now. I should add here that cleaning that whole compartment was done with a bleach mixture, and then I also sprayed it and rubbed it down with some odor destroyer. So I think it did an okay job of getting rid of most of that stuff. Key is on, car's not on, and heater controls are off. I turn them to vent. And the door struggles to get itself in its right position, but there it goes. We've got plenty of air flowing out of here now. Doesn't smell so great. We'll give it a chance. As you can see here, I'm gonna have to deal with this. Saw a video. I've got the adhesive on order, something called, I think it's Goop Automotive, but I'll need to take this panel off, and really I have to take the whole upper console out of the way. Let's see, radio supposedly does not work. Oh. Okay. Well, the owner told me the radio didn't work, so I didn't even bother. It'll be interesting to see. We'll try see if the defrost door will work. Yeah, I got lots of nice air flowing out of there now. Nothing out of the face vents. If I go to heater, it's working. Let's see where it goes. Alright, so now I've got lots of air. I thought I felt the air out by my feet. I'll have to see. Maybe those vents are plugged. We'll find where the source is. Alright, supposedly the air conditioner needs recharging. So we'll shut everything off. And the antenna is, all right, he gave me the antenna. Gotta find the antenna. It needs to be screwed in. Let's see if we have reception. So the antenna is screwed in. Let's see what we find now. Alright, so there's speakers in the headrest, and the ones behind my head were making noise, as were these ones up front, and that was coming in. What I wasn't getting was the ability to lower the volume. Let's try that again. I'll bring you back if I can make that work. The up volume is the only one that works up here in this corner. That one seems stuck in, that one seems stuck in, that one's stuck in, that one works over there. So I'll take the radio out, take it apart, and I'm hoping it's just, I don't know, stickiness down there. That works down there. That one works. That one works. All these I'm sure work. The scan and the seek worked. Radio on the Fiero has sticky buttons. So volume goes up, volume does not go down. Neither of the tune buttons, they're all kind of stuck in the in position. Oh, that one works. That one works. None of the others over there. These all seem to work over here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this radio apart to try to get to the back side of where these buttons are. I tried spraying in electronic cleaner from the front. That did not have an impact. So I'm taking off these little screws here and removing the top and the bottom first. I'll remove these larger nuts, and hopefully that will expose what I need to be able to remove the front panel off of the radio housing. With the lid off, or the lids off, was able, oh, and I also had to remove the tiny little knob covers that go on the equalizer. Was able to pull the cover away and rotate it slightly and expose that, and I'll take that screw out, and that should free the cover. And then what I'm after is really everything underneath there. Right, the front panel is off. There is, that one stayed with the actual switch. And this one here is in that space there, and I'm going to hopefully have it just fall loose in there, as well as the light guide that sits in there. Right, that light guide just kind of fell out. Hopefully I've got it in another view, but I think this is the way it needs to go. In terms of those two are little separate reflectors, that one in the center, and then that long one there, and that corresponds to what's going on the other side. And if I kind of pull this away a little bit, it appears that down in there are a series of connectors. I will pry them from the headers, and that should free this front module off. That front module is off, and there are the connectors that it attaches to. So hopefully we'll be able to get this board off of that cover piece. With much careful prying and peeling, I was able to get this circuit board off, which sits this way. There we go, sits that way into the assembly. And then now it appears that the buttons are all free to move. What I want to do though is get this assembly out and clean everything around there. So I've taken it all apart and cleaned all of the plastic. It really didn't look bad. I think my issue is not with grime. Right now the only one that seems to be working is the volume down. All the other ones have no spring to them. So if you take this apart, can I do it with one hand? You take this apart and you look at this. So like I said, the one that was working is the volume down. So that one is closest to me, second from the top. So what makes that one different than the other ones? It seems to have a little rubber tang on the button intact. That tang, or that little nipple there, acts like a spring. None of the other ones have theirs intact. I mean, they do have some residue on the board, but otherwise those buttons, all of them have stuck and broken off. So this one here appears to have its tang, and it should work with this one. But when I put it back together, it does not work. So I think in order to make this work, I need new push button pieces, and they are loose. Either that, or it just would be easy enough to get this whole little control module. I'll see what's out there on Facebook. More than likely I'll end up having to buy a whole radio just to get that part, but we'll see. I was on the phone with a Kevin Wagner, who was recommended off of one of the Facebook Fiero forums, and he and I had a conversation and discovered that in '85, Pontiac had contracted with a smaller company to make this push button style radio, and then in '86 and beyond, they contracted with TRW. So all the parts that he had and his experience, for the most part, had been with the TRW made radios. And we discovered that there were some significant differences, but fortunately he was able to put together a functional push button module using some of my parts and some of the 86 and beyond TRW parts that he had on hand, and sent it back to me. Everything was done quite quickly and quite affordably. I was very impressed. And I put the radio all back together, basically reversing the process that I'd used to take it apart. Put it back into the car, plugged everything in, and lo and behold, it works wonderfully. I'm really happy with it.